thanks for joining us again today. You came back, so hey, there's that. Kudos to you. We get a lot of questions about cash offer mailings that people are receiving in the mail and where other places. You know, those commercials on TV that say, we'll buy your home in any condition for cash, and we're just gonna do it all, and keep the agent out of it. To be clear, we're realtors, so we are trying to help you retain your value. So the reality is that most sellers walk away with considerably less money than they would if they had gone the traditional route of selling their home on the open market using an agent. In this week's reality check, we will go over the pros and cons and the reality of those quick cash offers and options for retaining your own equity. So how you doing, Stacy?
I am pretty good. This is a really interesting topic, though. I'm excited to dive in because I think a lot of us have gotten those postcards in the mail. Probably most of us, right? Mm-hmm. I've gotten a few from a few companies. I will not name names.
No.
But they are always sending with these big, wide price ranges and not a lot of details. So right. I'm really very interested to dive into the fine print here a little bit. So first, I want to go over the stats a little bit. Like, how often does this actually happen? So we found some data, and in 2022, about 1% of home sales in the United States were to iBuyer companies.
So, yeah, and what are iBuyer companies?
So iBuyer companies are companies that focus on instant and internet results. So these are companies that are designed to purchase your home really quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So we get those offers in the mail, and it says, just give us a call, and we're going to write you a check, and we're going to close, right away, and you can get out and you can save your realtor commissions. So how much money did those companies make that same year? So 1% of the home sales, right?
Okay, it's kind of sickening here, but okay. They made $18 billion in profits that year.
That was in profits. So that was over what they paid for those properties.
Yeah.
And that was only 1% of the home sales in 2022.
$18
billion. Okay. So what happened later in 2022 with Open Door, who's one of the big companies? Yeah. So we're not this is not...
No, all public information.
All public information.
So there was a little bit of a hiccup and a little bit of an issue, and the Federal Trade Commission got involved. And they basically took a look at their advertising and marketing and said, hey, we think this might be misleading towards consumers. And that resulted in a really big fine to Open Door.
Yeah.
A $62 million fine.
That's a lot of money. And that was just the Federal Trade Commission waking up one day and being like, you know what? We've heard a lot of complaints about this.
We might want to take a deeper look.
Let's take a deeper look. So let me give you a practical example.
Okay.
So a few years ago, I was selling a home in McLean, and it was a teardown. It was a teardown or a gut job, okay? And when I had spoken with my client, we had decided on a price we were going to list it at. And in the meantime, she got an offer from one of these companies. And because I was her agent, I got CC'd on the offer. They sent it to, which is nice, right? They sent it to her and to myself. And they offered her $759,000 for a home, it's a Rambler. It was a tear down home. Pretty good, right? They can just come in, write the check. And now, for those of you that might not live in the Northern Virginia area, McLean's a pretty hot area. So ask me how much I sold that home for.
I'm going to guess it was more than $757,000 or...
I sold, so think about this a second. So $759,000 offer, you can save your realtor commissions on whatever percentage that is. Doesn't matter if it's 1% or 20%. You're going to save those commissions. I was able to bring her $1.1 million.
Wow.
By putting it on the open market. Wow. And that was with her doing nothing.
So current same as is condition.
Same. Sorry, I am lying one thing. The only thing I did is I did have the stuff removed from her property. And she had to pay a few $1,000s to do that, but she didn't have to do anything.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit.
She didn't have to do anything. She just had to say take all this stuff away, and companies came and they removed all the junk. So we could have left the junk in there that may have made like a $25,000 difference. It was worth the few $1,000s to remove all the junk.
Seriously.
But $759 to $1.1 million.
What did your client say?
My client was drop-jawed. She couldn't believe how we ended up getting, trying to remember now, I think we got 18 offers on that property.
Wow.
And the offer that won out was a cash offer and we closed in 2 weeks with no problems. So no contingencies, no nothing. Now, let's tell people what happens at settlement. So you sell in your home. What do they pay you in rubles? I mean, or
nope,
not rubles.
It's not a promissory note. They don't say we promise.
What do you get?
I get cash, money in my account.
Right? Yeah. If you're selling your home, you get cash. So don't get swayed by people that are like, we're going to give you a cash offer. It's all cash at the end. At the end, when you are sitting at the settlement table, they deposit cash into your account. It's cash. So
they don't bring it to you in a briefcase, though. No, I really wish they would.
I know, right? That'd be cool.
That would
be
like
really rolls
cool.
of pennies. No, that'd be a lot of pennies.
Much, especially with the $250,000 of extra profit.
Yeah, back the Brinks truck up, open it up, dump out your pennies. Very right. So let's take a deeper dive into these cash offers. So let's really explain to people what is happening. So, they're appealing to your sense of easy, right? We want to hit the easy button for people. These companies, and to be clear, we're not picking on these companies. They offer a real service.
That is a perfect solution for some people.
It is a perfect solution for some people. What kind of people is it good for?
Well, it's usually good for people who have to make decisions really quick and make those moves really quick. Because a lot of these cash buyers and these iBuyer companies, that is part of the deal. Quick payment, quick and easy is their marketing style.
Yeah, and if you're looking to do something, quick and easy, that's the solution that they're giving you. And you know what? Sometimes we can't do that. Is even putting it on the open market, and we can get things on the open market quick. If it's one of these type of properties where it's a tear down or something like that, we can still roll it around pretty quick. Yeah. But we're not going to have an offer for you in 10 minutes. It may be we're going to have offers, but we want to get the best offer, right? You want to give it a few days to percolate out there, and then settlement is probably going to be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. Yeah. So it's going to be a few more weeks.
Yeah. So if there's flexibility, probably more often than not, putting it on the open market is going to net you more. But in those situations where you need money right away and this is the best solution, it would make sense for some people.
Yeah. Now, have you ever gotten those in the mail?
I have.
I get them all the time.
I have. And I think it's funny. I don't know why. Yeah. But they always have really, really huge ranges on it. Have you noticed that?
Oh my God, such huge range. So I always like that they give you the picture from the Google Earth,
of your
house, the front of your house, and I'm like, that's 15 years old, whatever. But so you get those offers. The reason I ask that is because it doesn't mean that your particular house is special. They're not reaching out to you because they drove by and they were like,
my house isn't special.
I gotta have that house. They're blanketing everybody. So they're putting out the commercials, right? Commercials, social media.
Social media. I've heard radio ads before too.
Yeah, radio ads, signs. I mean, you name it, it's out there. So I'm not saying. Again, we're not poo-pooing the companies. We just want to make sure that people understand what it entails. So these offers come in, right? Yeah. So you go online and you punch in your address, and they spit out a range to you, typically. Or sometimes they just come at you with a number.
Yep.
But then what happens?
Well, then if you say, well, this number looks appealing to me, I think I might be interested, let's continue the process. That's when that number starts to usually go down.
It does. Yeah, it does. So first they do an inspection. So interesting thing is in our market, so when you're doing competing offers, let's step aside for a second. And when you're putting a house on the open market and we put out and in a strong seller's market,
like we are
now, currently in 2024.
Still.
We've been in a seller's market for a few years now, like 12. And we put it on the open market. What tends to happen when we're getting multiple offers? What's going away?
What's going away is
the various contingencies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the seller is going to end up with, more often than not, a much more appealing offer with less risk towards them as the seller.
So now these iBuyer companies, they're going to stroke you a check, but they want to do a home inspection first. A lot of us can negotiate away a home inspection or do a void-only inspection or do information-only inspections or something when we're representing sellers. On the buy side, that's different. But on the seller side, we're going to try to do the best to make the process easy for you. So these companies come in and they want to do an inspection, and then what happens?
Well, then they are going to take a whole lot off of that big range of a price that they gave you, because they're going to want to get every penny. And
they want everything to be new.
To be new.
Yeah, your windows, your roof, unless your roof is a few years old, unless...
They're going to basically flip it and get everything replaced and put it back on the market.
But they're taking that out of your offer price. I mean, maybe not the total amount, but they're taking a big chunk out of what they're going to need, because now those are repair issues.
Mm-hmm. And there's no negotiations with that.
There's no negotiation. No, they're like, this is what you're getting.
Take it or leave it. Literally.
Take it or leave it. Because how much profit did they make?
I think it was $18 billion in 2022.
They can't make $18 billion if they allow you to negotiate the price. So, okay. So those are kind of some of the cons. Then there's so you've saved commissions, all right? So you're not going to pay commissions if you're using an iBuyer program.
But
you're commissions.
You're going to pay something else, though.
What are you going to pay?
You are going to pay a service fee.
Yes. And how much is that service fee typically?
Those are typically between 5 and 9% of the sales price.
So you've saved commission.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
You're not paying that.
Not paying a commission.
You're just paying a service fee.
Okay.
Of up to sometimes 9%.
And now I'm trying to figure out the reason why we want to do this. But anyway,
because we get our money quick.
Yes,
that's what
money
it is.
Quick money, and we don't have to pay those pesky agents. Nope, no pesky agents here. So, I
don't know. I am a pesky agent. I'm not sure.
Anyway, but so what's the statistics on how much money? How much did that cost home sellers? And it cost home sellers on average
13 to 15% of the home sales price.
So you've saved your commission.
Yes.
But you've lost 13 to 15% of your home's value. So,
which is huge.
Yes. So just want to make sure that you're following along here.
The dollars and cents, yeah.
Yes. And according to some findings done by MarketWatch, iBuyer sales netted owners how much less?
11% less than what they would have if they had sold on the open market.
And that's really an average because according to all the examples I've run into in a high cost of living area. So I would imagine that a lot of this is offset by markets in which there's a very small delta. When you're talking about a home that even in a imperfect condition may sell for $150,000 or $200,000, the delta,
the profit margin, the possibilities
is a lot different. But so you're losing 11%, but hey, you're saving those realtor fees.
Yes.
And again, we're realtors. But we are trying to shed a light on this because in our role, one of our fiduciary responsibilities is to protect our clients' interests, right? We have a responsibility to protect your interest, to protect your home's value, to do what we can to get your equity out of your home for you. These companies are not licensed. They're not realtors. They're not subject to any code of ethics requirements like we are. So So there's a risk there. They also only operate in certain areas.
Yes, so you're generally going to find these companies in like more major metro areas. So that is one drawback too. This isn't a program that's available everywhere, and it's not an option available for everyone. And even if it is in your market, they might not be interested in your specific type of property. So that's the other part of it.
Yeah, the age of property. They don't do old homes. They don't do homes low value. Sometimes they don't do low value homes, but I think it depends where they are, because I have heard them doing low value homes. If the high value in your area is $300,000, then they will do that. Yeah. But in an area where your average sales price is $800,000, they won't do it.
Yeah.
So
they're generally not going to do properties with a lot of land or farms or anything like that.
Right. So they make those deductions, they do the inspections, the repair, they reduce, and then they come back at you. And by now you've already kind of wasted a little bit of time, because this didn't happen overnight. Yeah,
that speed that they talk about is really just to get the first initial offer, and then once everything is done, then they can get you that check quickly. But that process in between can take a little bit of time.
Yeah. So sometimes you're back up to your 30 days that you would have taken if you had put it on the open market. Another example I was going to give. So I have a piece of land in Florida. So we've talked about iBuyer companies, but there's other people out there doing this. Yeah. So there's kind of different ranges. So you have the big companies. Mm-hmm. You also have some just straight up investors. Yeah. And investors are a really important cornerstone of the real estate market. But to be clear, they're in it to make a profit. So they're not going to come and offer you a lot of money for a home that they cannot make a large profit on. Yeah. So they're looking for a big gap. You've heard about the people that are also doing the assignments.
Oh, I have heard a little bit about that.
Yeah. So
that feels a little predatory.
Yeah, a little predatory, where I basically go, Stacy, I'll buy your home. Here, sign this purchase agreement. I'm going to pay you $500,000 for your home. And literally before we go to settlement, I have turned around and sold that home for $600,000 to somebody else. So by the time Stacy goes to settlement, she's actually doing settlement with this person, but she's only getting $500,000, and I'm getting $100,000.
That could be a whole nother episode.
That'd be a really
episode. Sad episode.
Yes. So that's an assignment. Those are assumptions. Sorry. How do you protect yourself with this? Again, we want you to protect your equity.
Be educated.
Be educated. Yes. Be educated. If this is the best thing for you, if you are just like, I don't want to talk to anybody else, I want to take this offer, I want to run to the bank, I want to be done with it, then do that. That's great.
Just read everything.
Even
the fine print, please.
But we encourage you to please do your research. So I started to talk about Florida. So I have a piece of land. It's undeveloped. It's just a piece of land. My father gave it to me years ago. And I pay taxes on it every year. And I don't know why. I'm just sitting on this piece of land. I want to do something with it. And every year every month, I probably get 3 offers in the mail.
Wow.
Like literally where they send you a purchase agreement and you just sign it and send it back.
Easy.
So the land hasn't changed. It's not developed. There's no house on it. Mm-hmm. The land is the same for all these offers. I have an envelope that I have, a file folder full of these offers that range from $10,000 up to $80,000 for the same piece of land. Now, granted, I can tell you that even 80 is going to be less than market value.
Yeah.
But it just makes me laugh that just in that group of people, there's a $70,000 gap.
That is wild.
In what they're willing to offer. So you have to like talk to somebody else. There are reputable investors buying houses out there. So I don't want you to think that we're saying that don't ever sell your home to an investor, but just realize that if you go any route where somebody else is going to make a profit on your home, that they're not looking out for your best interest. They're looking out for their largest profit margin.
Yeah, their bottom line.
Their bottom line. That's what's important to them. Mm-hmm. So talk to a trusted realtor. Talk to somebody, anybody else. before you go signing on the dotted line for those companies. And be very careful that you don't sign anything at all with them. Because there are some companies that will just be like, sign here.
I don't want to bring the word predatory back again, but...
Yes. And we're not necessarily talking about anybody specific. It's just there are companies out there that do that.
Yeah. And if you call, so say you call a trusted realtor in the community, and say it happened to be me, and we go through your situation, your motivation, your needs, and where you're trying to go for your next step, and maybe putting it on the open market isn't the right solution. And to Jamie's point, I know tons of investors that I could introduce you to, and maybe there's a fit there that we could find. But on the same token, this market is bananas right now, and we could probably get them a great offer first weekend on market. So speed could happen on the open market too. And I think it's really important as a consumer and a homeowner that you weigh all of those options before you make that decision.
100%. And people are always going to tell you, and it may be a real estate agent, especially licensees who may be are investors themselves, right? They may come to you and offer to do a cash deal for your home. But again, they're looking out for their own profit. And I'm not faulting anybody for this. Everybody's got to make a living. But they're not necessarily trying to give you the most money. They may come in, any of these companies come in kind of swooping in like a savior to bail you out of whatever problems you may be dealing with. But it's always going to be to profit them. So there's other options you can do too. There's, if you have a home that needs work before you put it on the market, there's a lot of agents like myself who have programs
where they'll help with that type of a project in order to get things done.
Right. I mean, I have something I call your flip your own home program, where I tell people, hand me the keys and show up at settlement. And all they have to do, they do have to approve the budget, and I'll even have it funded for them if they don't have the cash to do it. So again, it doesn't take them it does take time. So I can't create time out of thin air.
We would be very rich if you
could.
We would
be, yes, I would be very rich.
Very. Like I said, we too.
Yes. Yeah, we would be very wealthy with the creation of time. Yes. I would live to be 1 million. At any rate. But, I can't make time change, but what we can do is we can bring in contractors, we can pick out the finishes, we can get it funded so that you're showing up at settlement and you're selling a property that you have flipped yourself.
With no stress.
Someone
else did it all for you.
You didn't do anything. I
might have to call you.
Yeah, right. Call me. But we just really want to look out for you. So what did we learn here?
Well, we learned to do your homework and your due diligence, that's for sure. We learned that a certain company had made $18 billion of profit.
That wasn't one company. That was the big four. The big four combined made $18 billion, and that 1% of sales volume. That was their profit.
In profit. Sorry, I'm such a big number. I'm still thinking about
this. But really, what I hope you take away with this is we're not poo-pooing iBuyer companies. They have a definite place in the market, and if that's a route that you need to take, then take it. But we do stress that you do your due diligence. Talk to a trusted realtor.
Yes.
Talk to a couple other people and see if they can't do a better job for you. So that was it. That's today's episode, and thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you again at our next episode, and have a great day.
And don't forget
to spay and neuter your pets. Thank you.
Oh, we're cheese balls.
We are cheese balls.